Hello friends, today we will talk about a simple boy whose life is very maintained, but he murders many people at night. Even his friends or boss, he doesn't care about anyone. But the most surprising thing is that, despite knowing that this boy is a serial killer, the police do not arrest him and he escapes punishment. Now the question is, how did he escape punishment even after committing so many murders? And how did this boy turn from a simple boy into a dangerous serial killer? We will get answers to all these questions later. So without going into further details, let's start the explanation. At the beginning of the movie, we see this 27-year-old man named Patrick Bateman, who is an investment banker. Patrick is too obsessed with himself, taking care of himself regularly like taking bath, washing his face, applying different types of face masks on his face, and keeping himself fit by exercising. All these things are a very important part of Patrick's life. That means Patrick's life is very sorted. But he also had a bad habit. Patrick loves to show off in front of his friends. And sometimes he shows off so much that he goes beyond his limits. He feels that the more he shows off, the more people will consider him rich. Well, that very night Patrick brings a prostitute to his house. And the next morning he goes to get laundry done with a blooded stained bedsheet. That same night, Patrick goes with his fiance to a restaurant named Barcadia. But he tells his friends that he had gone to Dorsia, the biggest and most expensive restaurant in the city, with his girlfriend. But the reality is that Patrick doesn't have the status to go to Dorsia. The next day, when Patrick reaches office, one of his colleagues tells him that there is a reservation in their dorm in Friday. But Patrick doesn't like this very much. That same day, at lunch, Patrick shows his new visiting card to his friends. Actually, Patrick thinks that perhaps his visiting card is the most beautiful. But when Paul shows them his visiting card, Patrick starts feeling jealous after seeing Paul's visiting card. He was not able to accept at all how Paul's card could be so much more beautiful than his. His ego gets hurt badly. That night, he leaves his office in very anger. At the same time, seeing a homeless man on the road, Patrick comes forward to help him. But instead of helping him, Patrick takes out a knife from the homeless man's bag and brutally kills him. A few days later, Patrick meets Paul at a Christmas party. Patrick invites Paul to a dinner, and Paul drinks too much at that dinner. After dinner, Patrick takes Paul straight to his home. While talking to Paul about different songs and their singers, he goes into the other room. From there, he comes out wearing a raincoat and an axe in his hand. Coming out, while talking to him, he suddenly attacks Paul several times with the same axe. And while attacking, he tells Paul to now go and show him Dorsia. Actually, Paul's visiting card was more beautiful than Patrick's card. Apart from this, Paul also got promotions. Hence now he can go to Dorsia anytime, which was not possible for Patrick. Due to all these reasons, Patrick's anger toward Paul was increasing. That's why he kills Paul so brutally. After this, he throws Paul's body far away from his house. After this, he goes to Paul's house with the key found in Paul's pocket. Patrick puts some of Paul's clothes in one of his suitcases. And while leaving, he records a voicemail in Paul's voice and says, "I am going to visit London for a few days." Actually, Patrick was doing all this according to his plan, so that no one notices Paul disappearing suddenly like this. The next day, when Patrick arrives at the office, then Detective Kim arrives to question Patrick about Paul's sudden disappearance. Then Patrick tries to prove his innocence by misleading him. That's why Detective Kim doesn't suspect Patrick. We see that after reaching home the same night, Patrick was doing exercise, and at the same time, a psycho killer movie was playing on his TV. Actually, psycho movies are always playing at Patrick's house, which gives us insight into Patrick's mental state. One night, while returning from his office, Patrick brings two prostitutes to his house. First, he spends time with them, and then uses things like knife. Due to this, the condition of both the prostitutes becomes so bad that they have to be taken to the hospital. The next day in the office, Patrick's colleague Louis shows everyone his visiting card. Seeing Louis' visiting card, Patrick becomes even jealous of him. After some time, when Louis was in the washroom, then when Patrick was about to strangle him from behind, then Louis turns back and says to him, "Hey, what are you doing? I am not what you think I am." Actually, looking at Patrick, Louis was thinking he was gay. Seeing this, Patrick gets scared and walks away. But the next day, when Patrick reaches the office, Detective Kim once again comes to meet Patrick to know about Paul. And this time, when Patrick tries his work, then Kim fixes a lunch with him next week. That same night, Paul invites his secretary Jane to his house for dinner. After some time, both get closer. To kill Jane like Paul, he starts talking to her about different songs and their singers. Along with this, he also keeps looking at different weapons to decide with which weapon to kill Jane. And when he was about to kill Jane without a nail gun, at that very moment, her fiance's call comes, due to which Patrick's mind changes. Then Patrick asks Jane to leave his house. Jane suddenly gets very nervous seeing such strange behavior of Patrick. That's why she quietly leaves from there without saying anything. Next week, Patrick goes to meet Kim. Patrick learns from Kim's conversation over lunch that the police are suspicious of him. That same night, Patrick once again invites two girls to his house. In fact, since Paul's house was empty after killing him, Patrick now takes prostitutes to Paul's house only, meaning he feels very comfortable doing this kind of work in an empty house. Well, there too, he kills a girl. Seeing this, the other girl ran away from there. Dead bodies of many people are visible there. Seeing the girl running away, Patrick throws a chain towards her, due to which the girl dies on the spot. This is how we see Patrick's most terrifying face here. Next night, when Patrick goes to withdraw some money from the ATM, suddenly on the screen of the ATM machine it is written, "Feed me a cat." Seeing this, Patrick picks up a cat of a woman passing by and tries to kill it. When the woman sees her cat from a distance, she stops Patrick from killing it. At the same time, Patrick takes out his anger on the cat's owner and shoots that woman on the spot. Some police officers see this incident. Now the police chase him and firing starts between the two, due to which some police officers die. But the surprising thing is that the police is not able to do any harm to Patrick. Even while reaching his office, he would shoot whoever he saw in front of him. On the other hand, after this incident, the police start searching for Patrick in the whole city by helicopter. Here Patrick calls his lawyer and confesses everything that he has murdered people till today. Next morning we see that Patrick has gone to Paul's house, because till date he has murdered people and their dead bodies are kept there, and now he has come to dispose of those bodies. But he gets surprised when he reaches Paul's house, because Paul's house is no longer the same. It is going to be repaired and put on rent. That's why the interior of this house is being completely changed. Where Patrick hid all the dead bodies, they were not there, but there is some other stuff there. Patrick asks a woman present in the same house about this, that some stuff was kept here. Where is it? The woman tells him that they didn't find anything there and no one named Paul lives in this house. Hearing this, Patrick's mind completely spins. He leaves the place and calls his secretary Jane and starts crying a lot because he doesn't understand what's happening to him. After this, Patrick reaches his office. When he meets his lawyer, Harold, Patrick asks him about the voicemail he sent him last night. The lawyer surprises him and says, "Yes, I hear that. That joke was great." Patrick becomes very confused after hearing all these things from his lawyer, because he didn't send him any joke. Then why is the lawyer saying such things? That's why he once again confesses to his lawyer that he has murdered Paul. Then lawyer laughingly says that 10 days ago I had dinner with Paul twice in London. Then how did you kill Paul? And he is still in London? And tell me, how is this possible? Are you kidding me? Patrick doesn't understand what the lawyer is saying. On the other hand, Patrick's secretary finds a diary of Patrick's in which it is written about different ways of killing people. In fact, whoever Patrick has killed till date, in whatever way, was all just his imagination, which he has written in his diary through sketches. Also, Patrick had murdered those other people. All that was not true. Actually, Patrick is a lonely person and he is very angry with many people around him. He wants to make other people feel his feelings too. Even he is so self-obsessed that he can't tolerate anyone doing anything good to him. That's why whenever any incident happens, he makes a plan to murder them in his mind. And whatever we saw, he was hallucinating for so many days. And this is just his imagination, because this entire incident was not real, it was an illusion. That's why he escapes punishment. And this is how a terrifying serial killer escaped the hands of the police. And with this, the movie ends. So friends, how did you like this story? Do tell us in the comments, and also do not forget to tell which movie story would you like to hear after this. If you liked our explanation, then support us by liking, sharing and subscribe to the video. See you soon with another interesting story. Till then, bye bye, take care.